Hi, I'm a Career and Life Design coach at the Career and Life Design Center, and today I'm going to walk you through this resume writing guide and provide extra tips and guidance on how to craft a polished resume.
If you have the resume guide with you, please follow along. If you don't, you can find that on our Handshake Resources page. So, if you're already here, you might be wondering, what is the purpose of a resume and how can I make my resume stand out to get the job I want? A resume is a key part of any job application. It's your opportunity to showcase your qualifications and experience, highlight your personal brand, and demonstrate your career readiness. I also like to think of it as your first impression with an employer, so it's important to make it a strong one. To make your resume stand out, aligning it closely with the job you're applying for is essential. We'll talk more about how to do that in just a bit. After this video, I highly recommend that you come visit the Career Studio, where you can get hands-on help from a career ambassador, along with AI assistance called Big Interview. We're located in 103 North Foundation Hall, and we're open throughout the year. Please check out our website or call our office to find out about our Career Studio hours. So, when building a resume, it's important to organize your information into clear sections. But before you start crafting your resume, I recommend taking some time to list everything that could go on it. This includes your education, work experiences, skills, accomplishments, and any involvement in clubs, organizations, or projects. From there, we'll pull items one by one and place them where they fit best. Ideally, you'll also have a few job postings in mind. That way, we can tailor your resume to match those job descriptions and help it stand out, especially when it comes to passing applicant tracking systems, or ATS. ATS and AI are playing a bigger role in the hiring process, and there's another video that goes into more detail about how ATS works. Now it's time to think about how to strategically organize your content. A key point to keep in mind is to list items in order of relevance and importance. Next, I'll walk you through each section to help you better understand what to include. First, the heading. This is your contact information, your name, phone number, email, and a link to a professional profile like LinkedIn. Quick note here, you don't need to include your full address or the city that you're living in unless the employer specifically asks for it. Including it could unintentionally invite bias based on location. An objective or summary statement introduces who you are, what you're aiming for, and can grab an employer's attention with relevant soft and hard skills the employer is looking for. Now, which one is right for you? Objective summary is useful for those entering the workforce at an entry level and want to state what kind of experience and career path you're looking for. The summary statement, on the other hand, is more useful if you have some relevant experience you can summarize. The sample resumes in the guide will illustrate the difference between these two types. If you're a student or a recent graduate, or if your education is especially relevant, list this section right after your objective or summary statement. And be sure to use a full degree name, like Bachelor of Science in Psychology or Master of Science in Biology. List your most recent or in-progress degree first and include your expected graduation date. Just month and year, no need for the start date. You can also include honors, awards, student leadership roles, relevant coursework, study abroad experience, or organization memberships here. The skills section doesn't have to come directly after education unless the job you're applying for places a strong emphasis on technical skills. That's why having a specific job in mind is so helpful. It allows you to decide what to prioritize and where to place each section. If technical skill is not a top priority, you'll likely want to list your experience first and save skills for later. You may have noticed that I mentioned including soft and hard skills in the objective or summary section. When it comes to the skills section itself, we want to prioritize and focus on the hard technical proficiencies rather than the soft or transferable skills. Examples of technical skills include software programs, programming languages, lab techniques, data analysis tools, design platforms like Adobe Photoshop or Canva, and social media platforms you're proficient in. Examples of soft skills include time management, organization, teamwork, and communication. And here's an important tip. If the job description mentions a specific technical skill, be sure to spell it exactly as it appears. This will help your resume get picked up by ATS. In your experience section, list your jobs, internships, and other relevant experiences in reverse chronological order with the most recent experience first. Alternatively, you can prioritize the most relevant experiences first, depending on your goal. You can also use customized section headings to highlight different types of experience, such as relevant experience, work experience, project experience, or volunteer experience, to give some examples. The key distinction between relevant experience and work experience is that relevant experience highlights roles directly aligned with your career goal or the job you're applying for, while work experience may include other positions that are less directly related. Organizing your experience this way makes it easier for employers to quickly see what matters most. Each entry should include your job title, employer's name, location, and the dates you work there. Below each position, include at least 3 bullet points describing your key responsibilities and accomplishments. On the next page, we'll walk through a helpful formula to guide you in crafting a strong, effective bullet point that will make your resume stand out. Activities, honors, and memberships. These can be listed as simple entries with your title or role. If they're closely tied to your education, you might choose to list them under education, or if you held a significant role, you might list them under experience. You'll see this in examples later in this video. Here, you'll find helpful tips on how to format your resume correctly and professionally. But I do want to highlight one important point: the importance of having different versions of your resume. As we discussed, each resume should be customized for the specific job you're applying to, so in a sense, you'll already have multiple versions. However, for those who want to get more creative with design elements using tools like Photoshop, InDesign, or stylized templates, there's one thing to keep in mind. These creative versions may look great, but they often don't meet ATS standards, which means your resume might not be picked up by the system, no matter how strong your content is. So if you do choose to create a visually designed resume, save it for printing purposes, upload it to your LinkedIn profile, or include it in your digital portfolio. For actual job applications, especially those submitted online, stick with a clean, ATS-friendly version to ensure it gets through the system. As mentioned earlier, when listing your experiences, you should include at least 3 bullet points under each role to describe your accomplishments. Rather than simply listing job duties, focus on showcasing your competencies and accomplishments. That's why we call these accomplishment statements. And in doing so, you can use this formula you see here: what, how, and or why, and result. Always remember to begin each bullet point with a strong action verb, which helps quickly communicate your actions and impact. You'll find a list of helpful action verbs on the next page. Accomplishment statements are also a great place to incorporate both hard and soft skills, and to revisit the job description to align your language with the qualities and skills the employer is seeking. Quantifying your results can also provide a better perspective for employers. If you think deeply enough about your job, you'll find that there is at least one thing that you did that can be quantified. For example, the number of customers or students you worked with on a daily basis, the number of followers on social media you increased, or the amount of reports you created. Providing specific details like these helps employers better understand your capabilities and see the real value you bring to the team. So you can see the list of action verbs that you will use to start every bullet-pointed accomplishment statement. Remember to utilize a variety of action verbs listed here that will accurately and effectively describe what you did. So, there are 3 different resume samples here, each organized a bit differently depending on the individual's goals. In John Doe's resume here, The top half focuses on education and skills. This is probably because the student doesn't have much relevant work experience yet. Instead, they highlight courses and projects to demonstrate their knowledge and capabilities, which is a great way to catch an employer's attention. Joe's resume is a little bit more balanced, but you'll still notice that the top portion is dedicated to relevant education and work experience. Starting to see a theme? Also, take a look at the difference between related experience and work experience. Jill is an accounting major, and her relevant experience includes being the VP of OU's Accounting Students Information Society. So remember, relevant experience doesn't have to come from a job. As long as the duties align with the position you're applying for, it can count as relevant. Jane Doe's resume is an example where experience is prioritized over education, and she uses a career summary instead of an objective. Her career path is more technical, so the way she structured her resume really works in her favor. Well, I hope this gave you a better understanding of how to craft your resume. If you have any questions, feel free to email careershare@oakland.edu or stop by the Career Studio, either in person or virtually. Thanks for listening. Bye.